probably the most vulnerable post I will have ever made in the history of time. And for those of you who this little blue halo is already triggering you, I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna hopefully make you feel better, and I'm honestly having a weekly crash out. I need help from you as well. This
What?
is how much money I owe in student debt for my
That's you got another mortgage right there. So you're paying mortgage prices for college? I need a press play. I need to hear the rest of this.
physician assistant degree. And before you go ahead and take out the phrase that is so commonly used, oh, but you knew how much you were taking out in the beginning. No, a lot of this has to do with interest alone accruing, while I am in a hell of a limbo of what we like to call administrative forbearance, trying to get into the SAVE plan. So I worked with a student loan counselor after I graduated, and I was told to consolidate all of my Direct Plus grad student loans to be one loan so that I could apply to the SAVE repayment plan. Right as soon as I started and submitted my application was when all of the chaos happened in the courts, where they just can't get their head out of their ass and figure out what they're doing. And so I never actually got into the SAVE plan.
That's sad.
So I have been accruing interest at a 7% rate. I've not had to pay my monthly payment. My monthly payment has been $0 because of a previous tax return when I was making $0 income as a student. But still, this amount is a literal noose around my neck. And I don't think I will ever pay this off. I fear that I will not be able to ever own a home as someone still earning six figures salary, let alone children. I would love and aspire to have a child someday, but this really, I don't want to say like makes me suicidal, but like it truly makes it really hard to get out of bed every morning. And
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause that right there. She makes a really good point. She makes six figures. I've done my own calculations because, that's my end goal, making six figures. And making six figures really isn't that much. I mean, if you take out a mortgage, right, and you want that mortgage to be 35% of your monthly income, that would be like $3,000 a month, which is a pretty nice house, right? But especially if you want kids, or worse, plural kids, right? 2, 3, 4. Baby formula is like $50. Baby clothes is super expensive, and they grow out of it really quickly. You can always go thrifting. I do recommend thrifting for that kind of stuff, right? But on top of that, the medical bills, I know that they are cutting down on the Medicare, which actually is the reason why I was born. My family was in a pretty rough spot at the time. This was a little bit before the recession, but just my family wasn't that well off as we are now. Everything was completely for free, me and my brother, because of Medicaid. So at that, if you make more than that, which most people will make way more than the requirements for Medicaid. So now people have to pay for births. You got this $200,000 student loan, which you're not paying off anytime soon. You have a car payment. I always go over everything, right? But that's because of this one thing. If you are only paying this off and you had nothing else, this is doable. But when you add everything together, how are people living? Like, people just kind of do it, and it's always surprising to me because like I don't have any responsibilities yet. I don't live out on my own just yet. I'm thinking about doing it maybe next year, which I will very quickly find out how hard that is going off of the videos I've watched. But man, it is just everything is so fascinating. Watching these TikToks is just so fascinating.
I know I'm not alone. I know I don't even have it that bad, but I'm truly asking as a cry for help, like how you compartmentalize the stress of something like this, knowing that you'll never, ever get out of debt, because it would take an act of God to take this amount away. And people repay the principal loan multiple times over in situations like me, but they never get rid of their debt because of the system at hand. And that is what is so fucked about student loans for people in advanced degrees like doctor, nurse, anesthetist, nurse practitioner, physician assistant. What else can I think of? Any degree program that takes multiple loans and at least six figures to take out to go to these programs. And I did this to get a better life for myself, get a salary that actually amounted to something for my future family. And yet this is what happened. And a lot of it wasn't even the fault of my own, because I had no way of predicting that this would happen. Had no way of knowing that SAVE would not be around in the future. PSLF is my only option. I do work at a 501c3, but even then, the payment is like pushing almost $1,000 a month, and that will soon become even unaffordable for me. So yeah, I'm literally at a loss.
Student loans. We built up $75,000 of student loan debt. Say the degree one more time.
I study Shakespeare.
Okay. Shakespeare. Lovely guy. What are you going to do with that?
Well, that's such a complicated question.
Oh, no. I was really hoping for a more, you knew what you were going to do with this much school and student loans.
This is where I just have to say, we come from different worlds. You're not going to understand this.
What do you mean?
You won't understand like the precarity and why it's really all right.
What do you mean though?
Like your reaction there was like, oh,
I studied music composition in college. I was in the College of Arts School of Music.
Okay.
But I asked the job and you didn't know what to say.
So I have a lot of experience working at writing centers.
Okay.
So I could be there's availability for those kinds of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I also something I really enjoy is like working with people who are like applying to college. I've like played around with the idea of like opening a business doing that.
Do you have any student loan debt?
I do.
A lot.
A lot.
How much debt do you think you'll have by the time you graduate?
A couple 100,000.
A couple 100,000?
Yeah.
After 4 years, probably about 100,000.
Over 100 easily. We both pay out of state tuition.
250.
$150,000? How are you avoiding debt right now?
My mom.
Probably 60 or 80,000.
Oh my God, I don't even know.
I have no idea, and I don't want to know.
10K.
Take it. That's not bad.
Yeah. 30K. I'm out of state.
It's probably over 100 grand.
Over 100,000.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that hurts. You know how long it's going to take you to pay off your loan?
I have no clue, but I wish the best for myself. And when I start life, it's going to be probably horrible. Probably going to be like, why am I going to job 9 to 5? It's going to, yes, it's going to be a cycle. So
Probably a decade.
I might be in the 30s, 40s, just because I don't know what job I want to do.
I am over $100,000 in debt because of student loans. Do I think it was worth it? Do I regret my decision? Let's get into it. So I decided to become a nurse when I was 24. I went to a community college to complete all of my prerequisite classes. I paid next to nothing to complete those. Once I was done and graduated with an associate's in science with a 3.8 GPA, I started applying to nursing programs. Applied to nursing programs throughout San Diego County, through Riverside County. 2 years went by and I had still not gotten into a nursing program. Bite the bullet and take out student loans and go to a private accelerated nursing program. I went to West Coast University. This school is notorious for being really expensive. Accelerated, so you graduate with your bachelor's degree in nursing in little over 2 years. The education itself, I really don't know if like it was good or bad in the grand scheme of nursing programs throughout Southern California. What I will say is that I am in debt over $100,000 because of student loans. I don't know how long it's going to take me to pay that off. In fact, it's just like a distant future goal of mine. Like, I'm not even worrying about it right now. Paying them on time, like, it is what it is. Do I regret it? If I knew that getting into a regular public nursing program going to be that difficult, I would have just gone to West Coast right off the bat and saved myself those 2 years wasted. Why is it so hard to get into a nursing program? Is what I really want to know. There are so many RNs that are leaving bedside. Why would you want to make it so difficult for people to just get into nursing school? If you're thinking about going to West Coast and if you've been trying to get into a nursing program and you're having no luck, I would just say go for it. Go to a private program that you know you have a guaranteed foot in the door. If there's one thing I regret is that I didn't start sooner.
I just checked my student loans because I needed to get the information to someone, and what the fuck? I started with $80,000. I have been paying for 10 years. Last year, I paid $6,000 lump sum because that's really the only way to get it low. That took it down to $76,000 after I've been paying for 9 years. The grand total is I have paid $120,000 and I still owe $76,000. How the fuck is this possible? What?
Oh, this is what happens if you don't pay your student loans. So a couple years ago, I was in college and I had to get some federal student loans. I got kicked out of ROTC. It's a long story, but I needed the loans to finish my film studies degree. Now, when I got these loans, I was told that it was financial aid. Now, I don't know what you think the definition of aid is, but I had no idea you were supposed to pay them back. I didn't find out till I got out of school and I started getting emails about making payments and shit. I thought it was a scam, so I blocked the email and deleted everything. And I was getting phone calls and shit too. I was really annoying. Anyway, didn't make any payments for like a year. And apparently there's something called like a default. At least that's what the federal agent that showed up at my door told me happened to my loan. And I was like, what are you gonna do? Drag me to federal prison? Come on, be real. He's like, we're gonna garnish your wages. We're gonna take your tax return. I was like, I don't get any of that anyway. I got a film studies degree. There are no wages to garnish. So anyway, I tried filing for bankruptcy and that didn't even work.
How much do you owe in student loans and how much have you paid? Because I just went and looked at how much I owe versus how much I paid. I graduated a decade ago and I owed $50,000, right? And I said, you know what? I'm just going to be consistent. I'm going to pay my bill. And, you know, eventually that amount will go down. And I've paid $200 something a month since then, right? $200 something a month. It has been 10 years later. I started at $50,000. It's at $47,000, right? I've paid $25,000+ since I graduated college, and it's only down $3. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. $200 is already a nice sized bill. What do you want me to do? Why does it have to be so aggressive? I'm not understanding. I'm trying to pay the money back. I'm giving you what I got. You know what I'm saying? Am I supposed to be paying it for the rest of my life? Do I have to pay $1,000 a month to see progress? Like, it's getting out of hand.
What Trump is doing on student loans is literally going to crash the economy. And I'll use my personal situation to show you how. And if you're one of these people at this point who is rooting for the downfall of people who have student loan debt, you're going to find out real quick that when we go down, you're going to go down too, because that's how the economy works when no one can afford to buy and sell things to each other. Because this is the impact just on me of what he has done. My payment is going to more than quadruple. I went to school for public health. Never in a million years would I have gone to school for public health and taken out the amount of money that I had to take out to get here if income-driven repayment plans were not an option. And he just closed the application to all of those plans. So my payment will be going from a somewhat manageable percentage of my income every month to the amount that will pay off my loans in the next 10 years. 13 million people are on these income-driven repayment plans in this country and are maybe about to have their payment double, triple, quadruple. Do you not think that's going to affect the entire economy and your job too? When tens of millions of people cannot spend money on your goods and services anymore, this is like tens of millions of people in their 20s and 30s moving back in with mom and dad type of situation because they can't literally afford an unexpected $1,000 a month student loan payment. Most of these 13 million people would not have gone to college or wouldn't have gone to the college for the career that they went for if these plans were not available when they signed those contracts. People are not trying to dupe the system. They're not trying to get out of anything. We're just trying to pay the plan that was available when we signed this contract, which was it'll be a percentage of your income. You'll be paying for the rest of your fucking life, but at least it won't be $1,000 a month on your $50,000 teacher salary.
Honestly, maybe they should start taking money from your paychecks and your refunds to pay back your student loans. nobody forced y'all to go to college.
Maybe you should have got off your mama's couch, but nobody's questioning your decisions that you made in life. And those of you guys who are wondering why it's so difficult for people to pay their student loans back, how about I break it down for you right now? Imagine being 17 and 18 years old, going into college and getting forced to take out a student loan because you were told that in order to make it in life, you have to better yourself by going to school and getting an education. When you go get that education and now you're landing the job and you get the job and then they tell you you need 5 to 10 years of experience to then work this job. And oh, by the way, we're going to pay you minimum wage, damn near the same amount you would make if you did not go to school. So now you're an educator, can barely pay your bills, can barely pay to put food on your table. And now you have to pay back student loans that they told you to go to school for so you can have an education, just for your education to slap you in the face and tell you that your education is not enough and actually you need years of experience, and then we're going to also pay you minimum wage. If you needed to know why people are struggling to pay their student loans, ask yourself this question. Why would anyone give a loan? Why would anyone give an $80,000 loan to a 17, 18-year-old who has no credit history and tells them that they need to pay it back? And oh, sure, let's blame the parents who can barely afford to get their kids in school, but they're doing everything they can, but yet it is not enough. And then you ask yourself, why is it so many people that aren't paying their loans and why they're not paying their bill? No one told them to get an education. No one told you to sit on your ass and stay at home and eat fucking pizza every day. No, we did what we needed to do so that way your kids can have somewhere to go to school. So that way your kids can have someone to teach them. So that way your kids have a nurse that can take care of them. So that way if something breaks down in your house, somebody can come fix it. People can barely afford to pay for their groceries. The decisions people made when they were 17, 18, 19, they thought they were bettering themselves. They thought that they could pay for their loan. And quite frankly, putting those type of responsibility in a child's hand who just graduated high school is wild. Meanwhile, shoving down their throat the importance of education and how if you don't get an education, you cannot get a job to take care of your family. But yet that same education is not paying for you to take care of your family. And you're wondering why people are struggling. Instead of getting on this internet and blaming people for taking out a loan, why not understand?
I have student loans that total just over $1 million.
You're kidding me.
And no, sir.
What were you thinking?
Well, I wasn't thinking clearly. I've sat down and calculated my interest rates, and my interest is about $5,800 a month. So my fiance and we're trying to decide what's the best way to try to attack this.
When are you getting married?
April.
Okay. And what will you be making as an orthodontist?
About $250.
Okay. And what does she do, and what will she be making?
We actually just opened up an office, and she works in the office, so she's not taking any income out of the office.
Okay. This is such an extreme situation. Your income is extreme, and your debt is extreme, that you have to be very, very careful to just act like you're a broke college student because you are a broke orthodontist.
Right.
And so that means you guys aren't going on vacations. You're not buying a house. You're not leasing a new BMW. You're not going to a restaurant. You have $1 million. I can't even say it out loud. I can't breathe. $1 million in student loan debt. It gives me an anxiety attack, and it's not even my debt. But the horrible news is that ridiculous figure. The wonderful news is you have great income potential and a great income right now. So you cannot relax.
Right. So
you have to cut as deeply as you can cut.
Right.
And so be dialing your taxes in. I don't want you to get behind on taxes. But other than taxes and food and water and electricity, I really want everything else just going on student loan debt. The good news is you've got a great shovel and you have a great, bright future with your income potential. And, that gets you out.
These student loans, like the calls, are really making me regret ever going to college, considering I'm not even doing anything in my degree. But like these calls are just a reminder that I'm like, first of all, doing nothing with my life. Second of all, broke as and yes, I hee hee ha ha about it here, but like it's literally not a joke. It's like embarrassing, and it's like the most stressful thing, and I never want to be the person that's like driven by money. Like that's not me, but like sometimes I wish I was, so I wouldn't be in the position I am in. And like dealing with these calls and having to basically say my situation, like I literally cannot pay off an amount on these damn student loans. And then the fact that they're so relentless, they call every person in my family, they call people not related to me, but like associated with me, and I don't even know how it's just crazy. And it's like, I hate it. It's like you're coming at me for my own little debt when this country's in debt. Like,
This top number is the amount of loans that I took out to get a bachelor's degree. This number under it is the amount that I owe now. Now, in the time since I graduated, I spent over 10 years of my life as a social worker. I investigated child abuse and worked with teenage mental health. I have spent years serving my community. Now, during that time, I never made, although the work I did was very important, I never made over $15 an hour. So when I was on an income-based repayment plan, the amount that I could afford to pay apparently was never enough to even cover the monthly interest. Now here I am. Tell me how that's fair.
Okay, look, I know that social workers deal with a lot of bad stuff, all right? It's definitely a very stressful and difficult job, but I feel like it's pretty widely known that they don't get paid nearly as much as you probably think, especially for what they have to deal with for that job. It's kind of the career path that you have to really be passionate with what you do, because you're definitely not going to be rich or even really stable if you decide to be a social worker. I know, as bad as that sounds, but it's kind of just the reality of what the job is. Because the same guy who was interviewing Columbia University graduates interviewed somebody who was going to be a social worker, and she admitted the exact same thing, spending almost $70,000 a semester, and she said that she would be making roughly $40,000 a year in that line of work. So the math just does not add up, especially when you start taking into account the interest on those loans. You're just going to put yourself in a very bad situation.
Today, I'm graduating from Columbia with an MFA in acting. I did acting in high school, but I thought I wanted to do medicine, but, you know, things went a little different than I thought, and so the program I was in talked to us about like a master's in acting, and I thought it sounded really cool, so auditioned, and 3 years later, here we are.
What kind of job can you get when you graduate?
Well, hopefully acting, you know, that is it's a professional degree, like very much catered to that. So yeah, acting.
How much could you make in this field?
The luck, unfortunately, is a really big part. So, you know, maybe you happen to break super big, like then, you know, you'd be making a lot, or maybe it'll take a little bit, you know, so it's a little tough to say.
We'll look at the comment section for this video before I say anything. I'll have a venti cappuccino with oat milk and extra foam. Brother based his $200,000 loan purchase on luck. That's crazy. Imagine spending $150K to be an actor. Can he act like a guy that makes eye contact? I noticed that as well, a little odd. Don't need a degree to act. I mean, there were tons of comments like that. I'll take a number 6 with fries and a cola. Just a pup cup for the little guy, please. Bro went to Columbia and got a degree in acting. Target night manager for the kids department. I mean,
there was a girl on here. They had $600K in student loans, bro. That is $600,000. Yo, I am so glad when I graduated high school that I went to community college at first and then transferred to university. Thank God for that FAFSA, because I would have not gone to school. I'm telling y'all, if I did not have financial aid, I would have not gone to school. I'm so, bro, with financial aid, college is so expensive, y'all. You know, Harvard back then in the 80s and 70s was $4,000. Now Harvard is $80,000.
And if you want to look it up yourself, almost every single college or university, year after year, increases their tuition. So this problem is only going to get worse in the future. Now, I will say I've seen an increasing amount of people talking about degrees that they're getting from these prestigious universities or just plain old colleges, right? No matter what, it's pretty expensive at the end of the day. But some of the degrees that these people are going for, you really just have to know. Even if it's in the back of your mind, it's going to be pretty difficult to dig yourself out of this hole.
Taking out student loans was the single-handedly worst mistake I've ever made in my entire life. At this point, like, a college education is pointless. It was pointless. I've been paying on my student loans for more than 13 years now, and I've more than paid back the amount that I took out, and then some because of interest. And there's all this like misinformation and false hope around forgiveness and qualifying payments.
Loan balance is at 4%. I see $20,000, $3,400, $29,000, and $41,000. What are those things? Oh, those are student debt.
Yeah.
This is just student debt? This page? Oh,
yeah.
No, we have a credit card as well. These are all individual federal student loans?
No. They're all from Sallie Mae.
But at 4%?
Not all of them.
4 of them are. The other 4 are not.
We had to split payments between my father and I. So I pay a portion and he pays a portion.
Why does your dad pay?
Because they're the ones that took it out to begin with.
They're co-signed under him.
Oh, they're co-signed. Death. Okay.
And I think the total minimum monthly payments are around $2,000
a month.
4 of the loans are at 4%, but the other 4 are variable interest rates, and they're probably close to like 13.5, almost 14% right now.
I mean, we see 13 or 14% on car payments. We all lose our minds. So that being attached to student loan debt is even worse. But we have another comment from one of you guys. I think the best compromise isn't full loan forgiveness, but a stop to the accruing interest. I've been paying more than the minimum payments every month, including during the pandemic, and I've already paid more than what I originally borrowed and still owe more than half of my loans because the interest that accrued. And
What's your name, age, and what's your major?
My name is Sydney. I'm 17, and my major is Cinema and Media Studies.
How'd you pick that major?
I took a film class in high school, and I really liked it, so I wanted to apply here.
And what do you hope to do with that major in the future?
I'm not completely sure. I think I would love to make films, but also I do like the analyzing part of it as well. So.
Do you currently make films right now?
Not right now, but I have throughout the past year.
And do you have any student loans?
Yes.
Would you be willing to share like how much student loans you have?
$20K for this semester.
Yeah. Is that scary? Like, how do you want to approach tackling that debt?
That's very scary to think that after college I'm going to have a lot of loans and just be in a lot of debt and it affecting, I guess, like my credit and things like that as I go on.
So I assume you're just going to work after college and then like take a portion of that money and pay the debt off slowly?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, so before I say anything, we can look at a couple of the comments. Yikes, a waste of money for that degree at that school. Girl is lost. She's going to be in for a rude awakening when she graduates. Useless degree, waste of time and money. Now she's going to USC, which is a very popular film school. She racked up $20,000 for that semester, which honestly I don't think is that bad for USC. That's one of the universities that's incredibly expensive. I gotta look it up. 2025 estimate cost of attendance for USC is $73,260 a year. So this could get way worse in the future. I'm not going to lie, I was in somewhat of a similar situation with her degree. I initially went to community college for exercise science until I realized that I didn't want to be a personal trainer or anything like that. I just like working out a lot. I ended up switching to biology because I basically didn't really know what to do. Again, wasting more time and money. And before I finally dropped out, I switched over to photography because I wanted to look into a film degree, but the community college that I was at didn't really have anything available other than photography. So I just took that, again, another pretty useless degree, until I finally called it quits and racked up 5 figures worth of debt. Now, I guess in the end, it all worked out because I only really picked film because I enjoyed making YouTube videos. I've been making them since 2010. If you truly want to be a professional photographer or a cinematographer, anything with film, you do not need to go to a university to study. You just need to do it. Maybe look some stuff up online. You need to do much more hands-on type of work instead of spending possibly $73,000 a year to go to USC for them to teach you what to do.
So as it turns out, the student loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have a 17% interest rate. So what I thought I've been paying off for all this time, I'm actually, like, I owe more than what I started off with. What the f***? So Jeff Bezos, this would be a really cool time to Venmo me, bro. Like, I owe $90,000 and I didn't even spend that much on school. Like, any rich person, please tap in. Like, Kourtney Kardashian, like, you probably have 8 houses. I'm never gonna be able to buy one because I went to college. I just signed up to be an egg donor. Guess what? Got approved. Who wants my kids? I can't afford them, so start a bidding war. Just take them. What do you want? My left arm too? Like, what the f*** am I supposed to do? I'm gonna be in debt for my whole f***ing life.
What type of Sallie Mae is smoking that they think for the amount of $40,922 they should receive back $118,305.59. Well, I understand that this is an estimated cost. The fact that for financing the money they want $77,383.59 is asinine. Now, back in my day when I was in college, I don't even think I paid that much for the 4 years I went to school. So to think they should get that for 1 year of schooling is insane. And I get it. If this is the fixed interest rate, 13.500%, and then the APR is 13.474%. But then they got the audacity to tell me that to finance this $40,922, they should receive $77,303.59